Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we turn complex research into indispensable knowledge. Today we're unpacking a really dark and sophisticated psychological paradox: when helping hurts. We're diving into a stack of sources from psychology, criminal law, and cybersecurity that all point to one terrifying pattern.
They really do. The pattern is that the victim who genuinely intends to do good or, return a favor, unknowingly becomes the agent.
The weapon used to execute some kind of concealed harm.
That's the core of this deep dive. The material you shared focuses so heavily on the weaponization of a fundamental human drive, which is the need for reciprocity. Our mission today is to understand how this basic social contract, this psychological debt model, is exploited. We'll break down concepts like obligatory proxy harm, and then trace how that shows up in huge digital breaches. And we'll also look at how legal systems are trying to catch up, using doctrines like the cat's paw.
Right, and here's the thing that really frames this whole discussion, especially now. We spend billions on firewalls, on intrusion detection, but social engineering is still the #1 cause of security breaches.
Still #1.
Yeah, the stats consistently show the human element is involved in something like 60% of all security incidents. The sophisticated attacker doesn't try to bypass the technology. They just persuade the authorized, well-meaning person inside to open the door for them.
It's because it's fundamentally about exploiting our social hardwiring. And the anchor for all of this is the principle of reciprocity. Anthropologists like Leakey and Lewin trace this all the way back to early human survival. They saw that this honored network of obligation was essential.
For mutual assist, for stability. Right?
Exactly. And then the sociologist Alvin Goldner, he formally articulated it in 1960. It's a deeply, deeply internalized social norm that just compels us to return favors, to honor our debts, whether they're moral or financial.
So we're biologically and culturally programmed to feel uncomfortable when we receive something and haven't paid it back. So when manipulators get a hold of this, they must use other principles to amplify that feeling, that debt trap.
Oh, absolutely. Think of Cialdini's framework. It lays out all these other levers that manipulators pull. For instance, authority. It's exploited so heavily when attackers impersonate, say, a CEO or IT staff or even a government agency.
Right.
When you get that urgent call from someone who says they're the chief financial officer, that psychological need to obey authority can just override all your critical thinking.
Or what about scarcity? If the offer, or maybe the rescue, is framed as limited, like, I can only help you access this file for the next 5 minutes.
That's it. That urgency forces a quick decision. It stops the target from taking a second to think, to verify, to question what's happening.
And of course, there's liking.
And, a successful social engineer, they will always establish rapport first. Maybe they'll mirror your body language or use the same kind of humor. They'll compliment you. They cultivate that natural desire to please someone you see as an ally before they make the real demand. It's all strategic.
Okay, so let's hone in on the actual feeling of the debt. Because the psychological sources you sent over, they distinguish between two different factors. It's not just one feeling.
And that distinction is crucial for understanding the exploitation. So indebtedness has two main elements. First, there's the communal concern. This is what happens when you think the person helping you is being genuinely altruistic. They helped you because they cared.
Okay, so that's tied to positive feelings.
Right, positive emotions like gratitude. You want to return the favor out of genuine affection.
And the second factor?
That's the obligation factor. This is what happens when you think the benefactor's intentions are strategic. They helped you because they expected something in return.
So that's where the feeling shifts.
It pivots entirely. It becomes more about guilt, a sense of coercion. You feel this conscious need to just get rid of the debt to restore the balance. A good manipulator will always trigger that communal concern first to maximize the gratitude before they pivot to exploit the obligation.
That makes perfect sense. We see this kind of thing everywhere, even in marketing with that classic "that's not all" technique, the TNA.
The TNA technique is a perfect low-stakes example. A seller gives you a price, but before you can even respond, they sweeten the deal. They throw something in for free.
It's the unexpected concession.
Exactly. The key is that it's unexpected. The sources cite this great study where sales of cupcake went from, 45% to 73%.
Wow.
Just because they unexpectedly threw in 2 cookies after they stated the price. That little bonus feels like a personal gift, and it activates that obligation to reciprocate by buying the cupcake.
It's the feeling of getting something disproportionate. Now, when this idea scales up from cupcakes to, say, orchestrating massive fraud or security breaches, that's where we need that specialized language language you mentioned. Obligatory proxy harm, OPH.
Precisely. We need that term because this isn't just basic influence, it's a systematic attack. OPH is a reciprocity-based social engineering attack employing an innocent agent to execute concealed third-party harm.
The genius of it is using the target's goodwill as the actual tool for the crime.
It's it.
So let's unpack this 6-step OPH model that security pros use. This is where you can really see the structure.
The steps are, well, they're always consistent. It starts with step 1, establishment. The initiator provides some kind of disproportionate favor or rescue. Maybe they help you out of a huge technical jam at work, or they offer you some really high-value piece of information.
And that immediately triggers the next step.
Step 2, obligation. This creates what we call an obligation bank, a reservoir of moral debt and gratitude.
The debt is banked. The target is now primed and waiting for the ask.
Right. Then comes step 3, activation. The initiator waits for just the right moment and makes an ask. And crucially, the ask is always framed as something minor or reasonable.
But could you just confirm this one code for me? Or, hey, can you just forward this email internally for me?
Exactly. And because of that banked favor, the target complies. That's step 4, action. The target performs the innocent proxy action. And this step is all about information asymmetry. The target has no idea what the real purpose is.
They just think they're helping out.
Right. They think they're returning a small favor. But this action leads directly to step 5, harm, which is executed against some hidden third party, a company, the government, another person.
And the final piece, the one that gives the criminal maximum protection.
Step 6, denial. The whole structure provides plausible deniability for the initiator. The paper trail, email logs, the system logs.
It all points to the target.
It all points to the innocent agent. They look like the one who did it, allowing the real criminal to just vanish.
That's terrifying. And we see this play out constantly in the digital world with what they call quid pro quo attacks. An attacker offers some small service tech support, a free download, even a small physical item in exchange for loss.
The data on this is almost funny if it weren't so right. Sources show that employees have been willing to give up their corporate passwords.
Keys to the kingdom?
Keys to the entire kingdom in exchange for just incredibly cheap items.
Oh.
A pen, a chocolate bar, a USB stick. That immediate tangible gift just kicks off the whole OPH process.
It's just shocking that the most robust technological defenses are made useless by a 20-cent piece of candy. Tell us about the 2011 RSA breach. That's a huge corporate example of this.
The RSA breach is a textbook case of OPH. I mean, RSA is a major security firm, but they were compromised when attackers sent 2 phishing emails to employees. The subject line was something like 2011 recruitment plan, and it had an Excel spreadsheet attached with a malicious Trojan inside.
And the employees, just thinking they were doing their job, doing something related to recruitment, they clicked on it.
Precisely. They opened the file. That was the innocent proxy action, step 4. The Trojan then installed a remote access tool, that's the harm, step 5, which eventually let the attacker steal incredibly sensitive data about RSA's secured tokens. It undermined the security of countless government and corporate clients.
And the human element, performing what they thought was a routine task, just bypassed every single technological gate.
Every single one.
So looking forward, toward 2025, this threat is not going away. It's getting more realistic because of AI.
Oh, the sophistication is increasing exponentially. We're moving into AI-powered impersonation with deepfake voices and videos that are basically indistinguishable from real people. Imagine getting a call from what sounds exactly like your CEO, urgently demanding you transfer funds.
So the core defense against this evolving OPH model isn't technical at all.
It's absolutely not. The defense is procedural and psychological. We're seeing multi-vector attacks that combine tactics. So maybe get a phishing email and then it's immediately followed up by a convincing deepfake phone call to add legitimacy and pressure you.
So what's the move?
You have to verify all important requests through a separate, known, trusted channel. Call them back on the number you already have in your phone, not the number they just called from.
Okay, let's connect this whole idea of the innocent agent and concealed malice to the legal system. The law must have struggled with this for a long time.
A very long time.
Assigning liability when the person who actually did the harmful thing had no criminal intent. We hear terms like unwitting accomplice or innocent agency and the cat's paw.
The law recognized this information asymmetry ages ago. The cat's paw doctrine is a fascinating tool, often used in employment law. It comes from a fable where a monkey tricks a cat into pulling chestnuts out of hot fire. The cat gets burned, the the monkey gets the snacks.
Oh, okay.
So in legal terms, a subordinate with a retaliatory motive can get an employee fired, even if the final decision maker at the paw had no malice at all. The malice of the initiator gets imputed to the innocent intermediary.
It perfectly mirrors the OPH model. The target is manipulated to carry out the harm. But how does that work in criminal law with something like federal aiding and abetting?
Well, in criminal law, under 18 U.S.C. Section 2A, the standard for an accomplice is that they have to consciously contribute to the crime and know the offense is afoot.
So they have that criminal intent.
They do. That's the crucial distinction. But, and this is interesting, the principal offender, the main person, doesn't even have to be named or convicted for the accomplice to be held liable. The focus is on that conscious contribution to the crime's success.
Which brings up this huge loophole in theft crimes, right? Specifically the difference between extortion and robbery, which seems to hinge on the criminal intent.
This is a critical nuance, and it shows how sophisticated manipulators can shield themselves. Robbery is theft by force, or the threat of imminent force. It's happening right now.
And extortion.
Extortion is theft accomplished by a threat of future harm, but the difference isn't just about timing, it's what the prosecutor has to prove about the criminal state of mind.
About what they intended to do with the property.
Absolutely. In many places, the intent required for extortion is the specific intent to permanently deprive the victim of their property. And this is where the clever criminal finds their loophole.
Wait, you mean if the person only intends to borrow the money, they can get away with it?
Yeah.
Even with extreme threats?
Potentially. The classic example from the sources is Rodney and Lindsay. Rodney threatens to expose Lindsay's drug trafficking unless she loans him $15,000. If Rodney can argue his intent was only to borrow it and pay it back, he could claim a failure of proof on the criminal intent part of extortion.
He didn't intend to permanently deprive her.
Exactly. That intent to temporarily borrow, even under threat, can defeat the required criminal element in some jurisdictions. It lets the manipulator escape liability.
That is a mind-bending outcome, given the coercion involved. It really shows how the law struggles with these crimes of concealed harm.
And that struggle is exactly why fraud law has evolved to cover deceit that doesn't cause a simple cash loss. Which brings us to the right to control fraud theory.
What is that theory exactly? Why was it even needed?
The right to control theory, you see it a lot in corporate fraud cases, and it evolved to prosecute professionals who deceived people, like shareholders, but didn't necessarily intend to just empty the bank account. It says that victims have an intangible property interest in controlling how their assets are spent, how their business is managed.
So the harm isn't a direct financial loss?
No, the harm is the deprivation of potentially valuable economic information. If a professional lies to their client about a deal, the client loses the ability to make an informed decision. The theory argues that this deception is the functional equivalent of intending harm, which makes it much easier for prosecutors to prove their case.
It's a huge legal expansion that directly addresses that information asymmetry we saw in the OPH model. We're seeing a similar evolution in financial abuse, especially with so-called coerced debt.
And this is such an important area for individual protection. Coerced debt is when an abuser uses manipulation or threats, often tied to that OPH model of banked obligation, to force a partner to open credit cards, take out loans, just ruin their credit.
So what are states doing to push back? I imagine it's hard to prove intent in a domestic setting.
We're finally seeing some progress. Texas, for example, treats coerced debt as a form of identity theft, which simplifies things. Maine has laws that let the victim deem the debt uncollectible if they can provide documentation, a restraining order, a police report showing it came from economic abuse. The law is recognizing the victim was an innocent agent.
So for anyone listening, what are the most practical, robust self-protection steps the sources recommend?
There are two immediate steps that are critical. First, if you are leaving an abusive situation, set up a new bank account. Solely in your name, with a peon and a mailing address the abuser could never guess. Second, and this is the most crucial step against new debt, implement an identity theft block, or a security freeze with all three credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This stops new accounts from being opened in your name. And crucially, you do not need a police report or an affidavit to do it. It's immediate protection.
So let's bring this all back together. The common thread here, from the psychological debt trap to the cat's paw doctrine in law, is really the exploitation of human decency.
Absolutely. All of these criminal and manipulative strategies strategies, they exploit our most inherent traits: trust, the need for reciprocity, obedience to authority, fear. They turn us into unwitting instruments of harm. The attacker relies on the target's good intentions and their lack of complete information to get the crime done.
So what does this all mean for us, for the informed person trying to navigate this? We've seen that the law is expanding with things like the right to control theory. The criminal line is moving. What was once just, morally dubious deception is now being legally defined as intended harm. It's catching these calculating professionals who thought they were safe completely by surprise.
Which raises this really important tension at the heart of our justice system. The legal sources note that vague statutes, broadly defined fraud, ambiguous intent requirements, they can cause citizens to steer far wider of the unlawful zone than if the boundaries of the forbidden areas were clearly marked. So here's the question. Should the law's primary focus be on retribution for this kind of sophisticated malice, or on clearly defined criminal deterrence that sets precise boundaries? That tension between punishing the exploitation of our moral impulses and the demand for clear, objective legal lines is the fascinating and often frightening cost of weaponized reciprocity.